we now move to another concept, and very important concept, without which we just cannot deal with consumers' problem. And that is the concept of budget line. Before we explain this concept, what do we mean by this budget? Budget is simply what consumer has. कंज्यूमर के पास कितने पैसे हैं खरीदने के लिए, what he can afford, how many quantities of X and Y he can afford. Naturally, it will all depend upon उसकी इनकम कितनी है, प्राइस ऑफ X कितनी है, प्राइस ऑफ Y कितनी है. तो इससे पहले कि हम इसको डिफाइन करें, let us take an example, a numerical example. What consumer can afford from the income he has and the prices prevailing in the market. We take a numerical example. We assume that consumer's income, let us say, is rupees 50. Say price of X is rupees 10 and price of Y, 1 unit, is rupees 5. On that basis, we prepare a schedule which will show what different combinations of the two goods consumer can buy. Remember, our emphasis is on what can buy, not what he will actually buy. We are simply examining the possible ways in which a consumer can spend his given income. These possible ways of spending consumer's income are given in this table, which is entitled as Consumption Possibility Schedule. Just like in indifference curve, we also have 4 columns, A, B, and we have 6 combinations. These combinations, I have just told you, are based on income. We have assumed income के लिए एक symbol इस्तेमाल होता है M. Income is taken as equal to rupees 50. And we have assumed price of X rupees 10, price of Y rupees 5. On this basis, we have prepared this table. Take first row. The row says the consumer can afford 0 plus 10. Clear? If we spend all this money on Y, he gets at the rate of 5 rupees. From 50 rupees, he gets 10. Now suppose consumer wants to buy 1 unit of X. Clearly, he will have to buy less of Y. 1 unit of X costs 10 rupees, which is twice the price of Y. Clearly, the consumer has to give up 2Y in order to buy 1X. This is with other combinations also. If he wants another X, he has to give up another 2Y. If he wants another X, he has to give up another 2Y. If he wants another X, he has to give up another Y, like that. This table is prepared. So remember, here every time he is just giving up 2Y to get 1X. In indifference curve, the situation was different. He was willing to give less and less and less for X. Here remember, now he is not willing to give. He has to give. अब उसको देना पड़ेगा. क्यों? बाजार उसके हाथ में नहीं है. Market is not in his hands. Market has a fixed price, and fixed price is ₹10 and ₹5. तो एक तरीके से सोच लीजिए कि जो इंडिफरेंस कर्व है वो शो करता है कंज्यूमर क्या देना चाहता है. बजट, ये कंजम्पशन पॉसिबिलिटी शेड्यूल क्या शो करता है? कंज्यूमर को क्या देना होगा. इसमें ही इक्विलिब्रियम का एक क्लू है, दैट वी विल सी लेटर. रिमेंबर, इंडिफरेंस कर्व शो करता है, इंडिफरेंस कर्व शोज व्हाट द प्राइस विच कंज्यूमर इज विलिंग टू पे. कंजम्पशन पॉसिबिलिटी शेड्यूल शोज द प्राइस, और MRA shows the price which consumer has to pay in the market if he wants to obtain X and Y. We call this, let us say, exchange of Y for X, we call this market rate of exchange. Earlier it was MRS, marginal rate of substitution. Here it is market rate of exchange. अब एक्सचेंज शब्द इस्तेमाल किया गया, क्लियरली मार्केट में एक्सचेंज होता है कि अगर वो एक्सचेंज करने जाए तो हर बारी अगर वो 1X चाहता है तो उसको 2Y अपने परचेजेस में से कम करने पड़ेंगे. If he spends his entire income, and he spends his entire income, that is an assumption. तो इसको हम बोलते हैं market rate of exchange, and this definition or how it is calculated, it is given here. Quantity of the good needed to be sacrificed. 2Y is needed. Remember, I have underlined the word needed so that you may not confuse it that consumer wants to pay it. Consumer doesn't want to. What consumer wants to pay is revealed by MRS. This only reveals what he has to pay, and quantity of the good needed to be obtained, which is similar. Now in our case, since quantity of the good needed to be sacrificed is Y, so it's delta Y upon delta X. This is our let us say consumption possibilities line. Note another thing. This MRE is the constant throughout. What was happening in case of indifference curve? MRS was falling throughout. Here it is constant throughout. The question may come why. The question is, it is based on market prices. It is based on consumer's income. Income is constant, PX is constant, PY is constant. Therefore, this is constant. Okay? This is the concept of consumption possibility schedule. Now, if we convert this into a diagram, Remember, I'll draw the diagram, not exactly based on the table, but what will be the shape of the diagram? We will lay more emphasis on what will be the shape of the curve rather than we draw on the basis of table. Budget line, once again, same thing, good X, good Y, and this is our budget line. Let's just say OA, OB. AB is the budget line. Why it is a straight line? Our indifference curve was a convex curve. Our budget line is a straight line. Why? What is the mathematical property of a straight line? Mathematical property of a straight line is that its slope is constant. इसका जो slope होता है वो constant होता है. Let me remind you again, slope is the marginal value. And the marginal value here is market rate of exchange, MRA. So slope is constant. Why is the slope is constant? Why it is a straight line? It is simply because we have taken MRA to be constant. MRA is unchanged. So here slope is equal to MRA. So why, if you get a question, why is budget line a straight line in comparison to an indifference curve which is convex? Answer is not clear. Budget line is based on MRA, and MRA is constant throughout. And MRA is constant throughout because income is constant, PX is constant, PY is constant. Now remember, in our case, यहाँ पर MRA is equal to delta Y upon delta X. His value is 2 throughout. Before we move further, we can calculate MRE in another way. We are given M is equal to 50, PX is equal to 10, PY is equal to 5. MRE will be equal to PX upon PY is equal to 10 upon 5 is equal to 2. So if we are given two prices and we take, remember, अब ये ध्यान करिएगा, जब स्लोप निकालते हैं तो y पहले लेते हैं, ऊपर लेते हैं, x नीचे लेते हैं. When we find out the slope, we take y on the numerator, delta y on the numerator and delta x on the. When we calculate through prices, we take x-axis as numerator, px as numerator and py as denominator, because इसमें कहीं दिखाया नहीं गया है prices, ये तो हमने अलग से लिया है, that MRE is equal to. इसका एक proof भी है. Let us take that proof. कि ऐसा क्यों होता है? What we have to show that MRE is equal to PX upon PY. Okay. We are given budget line AB. So slope of budget line is equal to OA upon OB. You study mathematics and you will easily know that OA upon AB is the slope of the budget line. Whether we take slope in between or we take at the end, it means the same thing. Now, what is OA? We can say where OA is equal to M upon PY. Is it understandable or not? What is OA? The maximum of Y you can buy from your given income. And the maximum is, your given income is M, and what you can buy from the given income is divided by PY, you can buy OA. Similarly, OB is equal to, OB is equal to M upon PX. Now, proceeding further, therefore you can say OA is equal to OB is equal to M upon PY divided by M upon PY. PX. Solve it. It will be equal to M upon PY multiplied by PX upon M is equal to PX upon PY. Normally, I don't expect that you will be asked this in the examination to show that. But you may get a question where you are given price of X, price of Y, and you are asked to comment upon equilibrium. In equilibrium, the term MRE comes. Then you may be at a loss. MRE तो दिया नहीं है सब. नहीं दिया है तो क्या हो गया? You take the ratio of PX and PY, and that becomes MRE. Ignoring sign. Remember, ignoring sign. Okay. So, this AB is our बजट लाइन. अब अगर मान लीजिए हम इसको डिफाइन करें तो कैसे डिफाइन करेंगे? जैसे हमने इंडिफरेंस कर्व को डिफाइन किया था. We can define budget line in the same way as we have defined. It is the locus of different points, with each point showing the combination of the two goods a consumer can afford from his given income, assuming that he spends his entire income. The consumer spends his entire income. Repeat. Locus of different points, with each point showing combinations of the two goods which consumer can afford from his given income, assuming that he or she spends the entire income on the two goods. This is how we can define this budget line. We can represent this budget line in the form of an equation, which is a very simple equation. Px into x plus py into y is equal to m. This is the equation of the